restarting. Let's go to Parakuf in honor of Chodesh Elul, and my kavanah is to go back to Parakut Test. I have a reason for doing this. And here, the Nefesh Hachaim describes tshuva, and Ubeir Protei Seder Tikunam V'Hiskashrusam Ayidei HaTshuva. So I'm going to explain the details of Tikunam V'Hiskashrusam, the Hiskashrus that takes place through tshuva. So let me explain that sentence, and then I want to give you a little background here, review some background. Tshuva is like, it's like seasonal, you know. Nobody thinks about it until the season comes. If it's not in Moyadim, it's tshuva something separately. We do it all the time, but certainly now. Whenever the Nefesh Hachaim speaks about Hiskashrus, remember this, he's referring to the connectivity between the Nefesh, the Ruach, and the Neshama. So let me just review with you that the way life works is, in terms of ourselves, there's a lot of different patterns. There's the patterns of the pattern of the four Elamais, Hatzilus, Bria, Yitzir, Asir. There's the spheros. Everything is a different wrinkle in life. But what we're referring to is Naran, Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama. And if you remember the mashal that the Nefesh Hachaim brings, that I've spoken about many times, it's like a glass blower. Remember the glass blower? so the Neshama is blowing ki'ilu a wind, vayipach ba'apav nishmas chaim, through a pipe which comes into our nefesh, which is the keli. It's like a glass blower. So what we have is the Ruach Hashem, which is coming from the Neshama. Neshama is not Hashem, but the Neshama is close to Hashem, the world of Atzilus, the world of Bria, which is getting from the world of Atzilus. The Neshama is coming through. It's being blown, for some reason, Ruach, into the person through this pipe called Ruach, and then we have our Nefesh. So we, as people, right here, sitting here, we are animated and given a life force in this derech, from the Neshama, Ruach, and then to our Nefesh. That's the life force that we have. And that it's very important that the Nefesh, the Ruach, and the Neshama, not just in Kabbalistic level, on a very practical level, it's very important that they're aligned. I mean, if you can imagine that the blowing is into the pipe, and then the Makabel is not next to the pipe, so it's not getting anything from this Ruach. It's just blowing it's blowing in the wind, right? It's not going anywhere. And then you have a question as to how is this Nefesh even existing without this life force? Answer to that too. But what's important, let's talk about L'chatchila here, not what's bad, but what's good. What's L'chatchila here is that the Nefesh is completely aligned under the pipe called Ruach, which is being energized by the Neshama. So you with me? So it means to say, just let's try to internalize this for a moment. It means to say that right now that we're living, that we're alive, what we want to be doing is getting the strength and the energy and the decision-making ability and everything that we have, which should be coming from our Neshama. Neshama, let's look at it as up there and coming to us, and this is how we're alive. This is the correct way to live, Neshama Ra. And this is done. The Torah tells us the great secret that the alignment is done through mitzvahs umais and Torah. As long as there's Ramach Evarim and Shesagidim, just like the Taryag, these tremendous tips that we have is all to align our nefesh and make our nefesh align with the ruach. So this is the essence of spirituality, that our nefesh is getting from the spirit meaning ruach, ruchnius, right? It's getting from the ruach is getting from the neshama, and we're living a holy life, and a good life, and a wholesome life, and a healthy life, and chachmas adam toyer panav, actually can show on a person's face, and a person's hanhaga, and a person what that person is. This is really the goal. if it gets off, so then tshuva is to get it back on. If we get it misaligned, the tshuva is to realign. So the purpose of tshuva is to realign. Shekasher pagam ha'adam b'chinas nafsha, hayafim garam chas v'shom shenifsaku v'nichrasu kol ha'tes yiroisel michachmo lamata miskashrusa. Because what can happen is that, and this is just so fascinating, because if now that we have this picture in our mind of nefesh, ruach, neshama, what is chas v'sholom kares? So kares, nichrasu hanefesh hahim karav hama. Kares hanefesh. Kares is where the nefesh, dahainu, our life, as we know it, is not attached, kares. If it's not attached, so first off, we're not living a life attached to our neshama. If it's not, and it's a different type of a life. It's a life being enlivened and being animated by sidrachra, by klipos, which we're going to learn about. If it's not attached, I have no derech into olam haba. So there's different types of kares, but the kares, from a Kabbalistic point of view, and this is important to understand, that is attached through, there's like 10 places of attachment between the nefesh and the ruach. These are called 10 spheroids. We know that you never detach all 10, only 9 out of the 10. And the sphere of chachma, the highest chachma, is so close to ruach it can't detach. But you can become almost attached and hanging on by a thread, nothing to do with your neshama, nothing to do with olam haba, nothing to do with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, nothing to do with Mashiach, nothing to do with anything. This is a possibility, God forbid, of kares. That's what kares is. That's what krisus hanefesh, and it's still hanging on. So, but even if it's hanging on by a thread, shenifsagu v'nichrasu kol hates yorisel michachmo lamata mihis hashrusa in terms of its attachment, but tered ployim, and therefore my life is way down. I'm living off klipos. By the way, I'm trying to get the picture and the math here. And I'm going to try to explain this in the language we can understand. So even if I'm 1 attached, 9 down, I'm almost not attached at all. We've met people like this. They don't seem to be hooked up at all. Nevertheless, by saying vidui from the depth of our hearts, by saying these words of vidui from my lave, I'm with my words, I'm rehooking myself up to the highest place. And now I'm causing so what now I'm doing is by doing vidu, let's just call this saying doing tshuva right now. By doing tshuva, I'm rehooking myself. So now I'm once again getting energy from my ruach, and my ruach is now already hooked up to my neshama. From there it goes up to your neshama, the ruchai. And now I have a great beam of illumination, which is entering into my nefesh as a person, as a human, because I did tshuva mitzad, because it's all hooked up again. So what we want to do, the goal here is to be hooked up, and if we're not hooked up, we have a way of re-hooking up through tshuva. And when I do that, I no longer need to be existing. You could ask this question: how is it that a person who has no kesher with the ruach, no kesher with the neshama, just a rasha? You know, when you say a person's into themselves, what that means, selfish, that their self is their nefesh. Elikai neshama shenasato bi. The bi is the nefesh, right? So the nefesh, person into themselves, are completely unconnected to their ruach and neshama, right? So how are they alive? How are they alive? So the answer is the same way squirrels are alive, trees are alive. You can be alive. but your koach is not coming from the neshama. This is a choice that we have. So I want to explain this. It's a fantastic paragraph here. You bailed out your nefesh from jail. It was being held hostage by klipos. And now you're reattaching them back to the ruach. So you get the picture, the art here. Yeah, the picture is beautiful. What it means is further afield. So first thing, I just want to say something that I've said a number of times before. What's important to understand is that there's two, in very general terms, there's two possibilities of being alive. There's a koach of kedusha, and there's the other side, the koach of the sitra achra. Sitra achra means the other side, and that means to say like two generators in Shemayim, if you will. And there's why Hashem did this has to do with free choice and all kinds of things. But the fact is, there's two generators in Shemayim. And if I'm talking divrei Torah now, and I'm doing so lishma, or if I'm doing a mitzvah lishma, or I'm being a good person in general, so I'm fulfilling my purpose. And Kadosh Baruch Hu says, okay, for this I created the koach kedusha, and I'm energizing this person with koach kedusha. Your thinking is different. You can have ruach hakodesh. Look what you're accessing here. You could have nevuah. You're in a different place. If I cut that off, so now the plug goes out of the big generator in Shemayim, which is called Kedusha, gets plugged into the Sitra Achra. We don't die, but we get plugged into the Sitra Achra, and now we are being energized by Tumah. That's what Tumah is. And our life could be Tumah.
It's something we can't tell.
I think we could. But you have to be plugged into the good side to be able to tell.
Okay. So in other words, like we could see somebody who we think looks good.
Right. It's so interesting. By the way, it's not a small koach. Like if you look in this week's parsha, Yidoni, Kosmim, all of the different magical witchcraft things that people did. This is all too. It's all pretty. It looks pretty impressive. Even Avodah Zara. It looks Zara. It's coming from a different place. It's very impressive. The people. The reason that people are attracted and been attracted for thousands of years to Avodah Zarah is not because they're not spiritual people. It's because they are spiritual people. They're looking for something that's otherworldly, something that's coming. But what they don't understand, and this only the Torah is Megala. We wouldn't know this. Only Avraham understood this. Is that I can get my koach from the koach of Avodah Zarah, from Sitra Achra Zara, El Zar, Elohim Acherim. Or I could get my koach from the Sitra de Kedusha. And in one sentence, I could be talking Torah and get my koach from the Sitra de Kedusha, and then I start talking Lashon Hara for some reason in the middle of my sentence. Out comes the plug instantaneously. God is fast. And he puts it into the Sitra Achra, and all of a sudden I'm energized from Tumah. Who wants to be energized from Klipos and from Tumah? So Haitzia, this is what David HaMelech said, Haitzia mi masker nafshi. Take me out of jail. I'm being governed by these klipos, and I can do very strange things and make bad decisions, and I'm living a spiritually very unhealthy life, and I have no chen. I have no beauty if I'm being energized this way. I think it is something we can tell. There's no kedusha with me at all. There's no ruach hakodesh. Everything is self. So Haitzia, David HaMelech said, "Masker nafshi." I'm imprisoned by this klipa. Why? Because l'hoidois shmecha, hoidois is lashon vidui. I want to say vidui. David HaMelech did the chet with Bathsheba. I want to do vidui. I want to get back into where it is. I want to just explain this. That's just picturesque. But we talk about tshuva. So the Rambam, Hilchos Tshuva, Perek Aleph, Halacha Aleph. Kol mitzvah sheb'Torah, says the Rambam. Every mitzvah of the Torah bein essay, bein loisa say, im avar adam alachas mehen, if a person's over an aver, bein bezodeg, bein bishkava, whether it's b'mezid or b'shogeg, you did it on purpose, or you did it by accident. The wonderfully famous motion of the Rambam, Kishayasa Tshuva, to give when you do tshuva, v'yashuv mechatoi, and you rehabilitate yourself, chayev lisvados. You have to say vidu. Lifnei akel baruch hu, you have to say vidu. Ashavnu, baganu, bazalnu, you have to say vidu. Shenemar, and my pasuk is, says the Rambam, isha kiyasa. Person does an avera, v'hisvadu es chatosam asher asu. They should do vidu. Originally, this was done on a korban. Rambam says later, now that there's no korbanos, there's no seir amishtaleach, there's no way to do vidui on a korban. You can do vidui. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave the Rambam's lashon is the more koach he went into the vidui and came out of the koach of korban, left the korban and went into vidui. So it's all about vidui. Vidui zeh, says the Rambam, mitzvahs essay. This vidui is a mitzvahs essay. Now this is and he goes on to talk about korbanos, etc. It's this is an annoying Rambam because when we start teaching Hilchos Tshuva, we start learning Hilchos Tshuva, nobody wants to read about korbanos, so we all start from Perek Beis, and in Perek Beis the Rambam starts. Ezui Tshuva Gebur Zeshabali Other Davar Shavar Boivav Shabiyada. So he describes what we know famously as Tshuva, that you have to regret the past and you have to accept on the future, and you have to get to the point where you'll never do the chet again. So that's where you should start. Hilchos Tshuva should start with, what is Tshuva? And so the answer is to make a lot of Minchas Chinuchs and a lot of Reb Chaim Bristers into one sentence, that the Rambam's shita is that there is no mitzvah to do Tshuva. There's no mitzvah to do Tshuva. The mitzvah is when you do Tshuva, kishayasa Tshuva, there's a mitzvah essay to say vidui. Vidui zeh, says the Rambam, mitzvah essay. Vidui zeh, mitzvah essay. Ketzad misvadim omar on Hashem, etc.
You don't have to do what's right. If you do, you don't have to do what's right. If you do, your mitzvah.
Exactly, like Gerushin, like many mitzvahs. It's something you have to. It's not like the mitzvah tzitzis. Logic says that there's no mitzvah of tshuva. It says in the Torah, loisigna. Right? I'm a stealer. I'm a robber. I'm a thief. That's the word I'm looking for. Thief. I'm a thief. I'm stealing things. And all of a sudden, I realize, lozu haderech, I don't want to steal anymore. So I stop stealing things. Yasher koach. You already have a mitzvah of loisigna. You're Makayim the mitzvah maybe of loisigna. I did tshuva, obviously. Like what's the mitzvah? A person is abusing another person. God forbid. You stop abusing another person. Yasher koach, let's give him an aliyah. It's caution. Okay, it is a yasher koach. There is a yasher koach. It's not easy to change. But mitzvah, the mitzvah is not to do tshuva. If you'll take a look at beautiful, well-quoted Meshech Chachma, or Meir Simcha, in Parshas Vayelech, he says that it can't be that there's a mitzvah of tshuva. He's explaining the Rambam. It can't be that there's a mitzvah of tshuva that I'm go to a rehabilitation center. This is not about self-improvement. It's not about self-help. It's not about a recovery center. Those are all wonderful things. They're things we have to do. But the Rambam is a given. Kishiyasa tshuva. You want to change your lifestyle to good, so now you have to do the mitzvah. And the mitzvah is the mitzvah of vidui. Explain why is that the mitzvah? So when I asked, why does the Rambam start with vidui? Why doesn't he start with tshuva? The answer is he's starting with the mitzvah. The ikar here is not the tshuva. Tshuva, as what we call tshuva, is only a chetimsa of real tshuva, which is vidui. The vidui is the mitzvah's essay. You know, if you can't say vidui without tshuva. It's called vidui pen. It's one of the viduis. The vidui pen. You can't. That's vidui gufa. I don't know if it works, but that's vidui gufa. You can't. It's like writing out a check to tzedakah for $1 billion, you have nothing in the bank. You're balancing the check. If you say vidui and you have nothing behind it, you didn't do tshuva, so what's the point? On the other hand, you can do tshuva, or you can stop doing an avera without vidui.
It's not true.
Why?
It's not complete.
It's not complete, but you did it. What is it? What is it? So I'll tell you Gewaldige Chazal that everybody quotes. Chazal say like this. I'm a Mekadesh Isha. I'm not Shani Tzadik Gomer, Afal Pishani Rasha Gomer, Afal Pishu Rasha Gomer, Choshishin L'Kedusha. Why? Shema here b'tshuva. Dilma here b'tshuva. So the Gemara says a Hechet Himsa. Makadosh Nisha Russia, right? The head of the mafia, Makadosh Nisha. Okay, I'll be a tzaddik. You'll marry me if I'll be a tzaddik? Yes. Okay, I'll be a tzaddik. But you're a Russian. You just killed somebody a minute ago. What do you? So what? Maybe Dilma here her b'tshuva. Frank the Minchas Chinuch. So what if he was Mahar b'tshuva? What happened to Vidui? What did he do? He didn't do. Even if you'll say in his mind, he was Macharot Allah, and he has Kabbalah Allah, and he's never going to do the chet again. Even if you'll say that, he's not doing tshuva because it's not vidui. Says the Minchas Chinuch. You know what? He's not doing tshuva, but he is a tzaddik gomer. Meaning he's a tzaddik gomer because he's not doing any averos anymore. That's called a tzaddik gomer. Just like a little child is a tzaddik gomer because he doesn't do any averos anymore. But he doesn't have any kapara. So he's a tzaddik gomer walking that's going to go to hell.
Tzaddik gomer?
Tzaddik gomer. Tzaddik means I'm not doing averos.
Because he didn't reconnect.
Oh, we'll get to the connection. He didn't get the kapara, and he didn't say the vidui. Why vidui? But I know that's what vidui is. Vidui. See, a lot of people call themselves balei tshuva. Let's say. You know, people talk like this, like I hear every day. Like my tshuva process started 3 years ago when I was on a birthright. That's when I realized that I'm Jewish, and I started keeping kosher. And then when I went home, I started keeping Shabbos, blah, blah, blah. Wonderful, beautiful. So the question is, did they ever do tshuva? The question is, do we ever do tshuva? In other words, the Rambam says, hey, you made a wonderful lifestyle, but they don't get a kapara.
We call it tzaddik gomer.
The Gemara says tzaddik gomer. Rabbi Kadesh's Almanashani tzaddik gomer. So apparently Hirhure tshuva can make one into a tzaddik gomer, but kapara nishta, and the ultimate in tshuva is missing. This is an amazing thing. Now, I don't.
What does that result?
Nothing.
So what is that if that's a person without what?
Say vidui. In other words, vidui means that you say b'dibur b'kol, that I did this in this area. You think about it. You say b'kavanah slave. I don't think jokes of vidui. I don't think that's what it's all about. But like vidui, after one makes the changes, the Rambam says in Pardes Project, after one makes all the necessary changes, he says. Mahi tshuva, goes through the whole process of tshuva, and then at the end he says, "V'tzarech li svadois b'svasa v'loimer inyanois elo shigomar believa." He has to be misvada. This is the Rambam first Pardes Bais Halacha Bais. That after he makes all of the changes that has to be made, "Tzarech li svadois b'svasa v'loimer inyanois elo shigomar believa." I say refer back to Parak Rishon. And you'll see why, because if there's no vidui, there's no anything. So there's no tshuva, you haven't done the mitzvah, and worse, you haven't done the kapara, and worse, you haven't connected, as we're going to learn the nefesh to the ruach. So the connection is not there. So what is it? It's a tzaddik b'maisim. A person, you can rely on this person that they made a change. They made a change. But the vidui somehow, which we still need to explain, but the vidui somehow has not taken place. Now, I just while I'm on the subject, I've been talking to Balei Tshuva for years and years and years, but there's a feeling of, for about tshuva. I'm just giving good eitzah, that's all. I think there's a feeling for about tshuva that I was a tinnik shenishba. So tinnik shenishba, like I don't have to do tshuva. I'm born again. Excuse the expression. Okay, then not about tshuva. It's not about tshuva. I mean, in other words, it's a big machlokes, rishonim even, whether a tinnik shenishba, the case, tinnik shenishba, somebody's captured by the guy, never knew anything about Yiddishkeit, didn't even know he's Jewish. Finds out when he's right, right, little child taken in by in a convent during the Holocaust.
Is this the same as Omen Mutter? This is called in Gemara. This is
tinnik shenishba, may not going. I didn't know anything. Comes the Hungarian Revolution, and I find out that I'm Jewish. Now I'm 20 years old. Okay, I'm Jewish. I want to be Jewish. You do Jewish. Now, the tinnik shenishba has to do tshuva, or he doesn't have to do tshuva? This person. I'm asking.
Would that
What?
How would it be any real difference from like a Kollel contest in that?
Shogeg. Difference is one's shogeg, one's onus.
No das.
No das. No chet. What? This is shogeg? Tinnik shenishba, or is it onus? No, bein zadon, bein shogeg.
Omen Mutter.
Bein bezadon, bein b'shgaga. Omer mutter shogeg. Omer mutter shogeg. You make a mistake. There's a difference between shogeg and onus?
Shogeg is referred to that. Omen Mutter, but you don't know.
No. There's sometimes there's types of shogeg. That's true. Sometimes I forgot, I didn't know it was usher. There's all kinds of shogeg. But onus, there's like Masasik, B'chalav V'arayis, Masasik. Onus, I had no idea it was Jewish. So that's not shogeg, that's onus. So that's a machlokes. The vart in tinnik shenishba, the halachic ramification of tinnik shenishba, is how are my miyaches to a Jew who has no idea that he's Jewish, or never learned that he's Jewish, or if you extend it to the Chazanish in the beginning of Chullin, Sefta Chullin, El Shchita, he talks about anybody who had no chinuch is called a tinnik shenishba. The question there is, how are my miyaches to that Jew? Is he a Russia? He's not a Russia. So be nice to him. He's still re'acha. That's what the Chazanish is talking about. And it could be he doesn't even answer your wine. It could be he doesn't, like he's a tinnik shenishba. Okay, but now he woke up and he finds out that he's Jewish. So does all of that tinnik shenishba pater him from the din of tshuva? Of course not. That's not talking about tshuva. Let's talk about our yachas to them. Of course you have to do tshuva. Tshuva because he's misaligned. It's like a person's an onus. They couldn't learn Torah. They're not a Talmud Chacham. You don't become a Talmud Chacham. You still have to learn Torah. So tshuva is I am misaligned. It's not my fault, and everybody should like me and even give me an aliyah and shul and everything. I'm not misaligned, but I am misaligned. My nefesh is not connected to my ruach, and I haven't done tshuva. This is the opportunity of a lifetime now. Now that you know that you're Jewish, do tshuva. That's the pashut of Shaar.
Where's the machlokes?
Machlokes is if an onus has to do tshuva. So the machlokes is a tinnik shenishba, shogeg or an onus.
A child to do tshuva for sins they did when he was a child. Or does a child to do tshuva for sins they did when he was a child?
It wasn't a bar chiyuva.
So he also, I'm saying why not? Because he's not.
No. There he doesn't have any das. Here he didn't use his das. It's just a person who doesn't have any das is like a doimim. Wasn't an avera. It's not an avera. He's not a bar chiyuva. But here, it certainly is an avera. It's an avera, but it's an avera bonus or b'shogeg. That's the shayla.
Is no use bar chiyuva? Do this or I kill you. I'm onus. I'm not bar chiyuva. Do I have to do tshuva?
Who said you're not a bar chiyuva? Of course you have to do tshuva.
I have to do tshuva, so that was nice.
Yeah. Otherwise, how would you ever have the gimel averas? I'm an oinus. Bow down to Avodah Zarah, I'll kill you. I'm an oinus. I'm not there. Why not? You're an oinus. If an oinus means I'm not doing anything, oinus doesn't mean I'm not doing anything. It means that maybe it means I'm putter from an oinus. But that has nothing to do with tshuva.
Is he misaligned in artists?
An onus is this is a shogeg is for sure misaligned. Before she bring a korban chatas, right? Before she's the chumash, she bring a korban. Why have to bring korban chatas? If I'm a shogeg, I'm a shogeg. What did I do wrong? So the answer is that you still misaligned yourself. So you have to do tshuva. And by onus, it's unclear. So it's unclear. It's too straight. But what I'm saying is that even if you'll say that a tinnik shenishba is an oines, it only applies to some of the mitzvahs. Like I could explain why I ate shrimp. I could explain why I didn't put on tefillin, but it's hard for me to explain why I stole from people. Or why did I ever lie? Or why was I abusive to another person? Or why did I embarrass somebody in public? How well, I wasn't from. I heard once that somebody was becoming a Baal Tshuva, so they said to the Bais Yisrael Ger Rebbe, they said, it's all beautiful, and I love Yiddishkeit and everything else, but when I go to shul, everybody's talking, like, what's up with the talk from Jews, and, from Jews, FFPs, and they're all talking. So the Ger Rebbe told them, leave them alone, they're all tinnik shenishba. Shiloh's who's the tinnik shenishba? Who's the all tinnik shenishba? Okay, I just want to say that like l'chayra, as while I'm here, this is not really our sugi here, but it's kedai. L'chayra is kedai to say vidui. In other words, a person goes through their life, and l'chol ha'pachas, you study each one of the viduim. Say 1, 2. Say vidui once. If I had the koach, I would be mavatal saying it over 100 times. But say it once, but say it correctly, or say a quarter here and a quarter, but the next one, a quarter the next one. I'm not asking them to sing what I do. just say peace, 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 peace. But say it properly. But the idea is to focus on lots of. You don't have to be from. To be Giluy Arayos. I had an affair. That's for sure. Lived with somebody else's wife. It's hard to say tinnik shenishba. How am I supposed to know? It's hard to say on a lot of averos tinnik shenishba. I hear the chukim maybe, but and even on chukim, he still should do tshuva.
I mean, the Robert mentioned about the dance. So if he's, let's say, a non-Jewish person and things, I think ethically I shouldn't be doing this. It's not the same as a Jew saying, I'm commanded by Kosh Baruch Hu not to do it.
Peseder, so still you have to do tshuva.
But I mean,
we're going against your own sense. What's that ethical conscience?
He's not doing it because he had a tzibur to do. When we don't do, we have a tzibur.
By the way, the Chazon Ish says that today everybody's a tinnik shenishba. And I guess he includes from people in that, like the Bais Yisrael. Everybody's a tinnik shenishba. Why? Because nobody gets a good chinuch anymore. Since the Gemara says that Reb Tarfon says nobody knows how to give teichacha, and then they argued with him and said no, nobody knows how to take teichacha. So probably they're both true. So how could you ever be everybody's tinnik shenishba? But I just want to say Chazon Ish, my hero. But everybody argues with him. The Chafetz Chaim, the Reb Zalman Auerbach, later Rabbi Yoshev. Rabbi Yoshev writes like nearly klal. We're talking about like the people here. Let's talk about Eretz Yisrael. So to say, what would you say? Like all the Chilonim are tinnik shenishba. Brought up on a kibbutz tinnik shenishba. Sure. So Reb Zalman and Rabbi Yoshev, they're not tinnik shenishba. I was driving back from the north the other day, so I listened to this beautiful Dvar Halach on the radio on Friday from Rav Rav Avram Yosef, you heard that? Oh, exactly the same thing. So beautiful the way he speaks now. It looks so sweet, so sweet. So he's talking about the mitzvah of having to pick up somebody on the road. Let's say you see somebody in trouble. So since the Torah says that if you see somebody whose Shaar is broken on the side of the road, you have to stop your car. So you have to stop your car for somebody whose car is broken down and pick them up. So he says, like you can say that, look, if it's a Chiloni, so maybe I don't have to pick him up because it says the whole thing is Re'echa. It has to be Re'echa, he's not Re'echa. So he goes on and he says that Chas v'shalom, how can you say that he's not Re'echa? Everybody has Bal Yidach, V'menu Nidach, all those people, they have some kind of a connection, some kind of a spark, and they have some kind of a Yediyah and Yiddishkeit, and of course he's Re'echa, and if you think about what he's saying they're not Tzedek Shenish. That's what he's saying. They all have some type of a Yiddishkeit, and the Neshama is working. And of course, this that they don't know is just B'shoigeg. This that they don't do is just B'shoigeg. They're not B'shita against it. And of course, you should help the guy on the road, unless they're from the Reform movement. Did you ever say that? I was like, I was lost my control. Okay, there went 93% of American Jewry. Was there reform? I mean, like his mind, like, okay, then you're a maskil, like then you have no cashier. So I humbly argue that also to say, I don't know, here if it's the Kollel, I'm not talking about the politics, but of course, you didn't have a cashier, you just touch a Jew. He's talking about Yiddishkeit and he's bagling you.
In that case, though, maybe you don't want to call it Tinishba, but if you grow up in a home, in a society, in a community that forces you to think that way, what else would you expect them to think?
Beside so I'm just saying that only works for about 50% of behavior. So I'm saying Tinach Shenishba, if a person calls themselves, we could discuss it further. If a person calls themselves about tshuva, so do tshuva. That's all I'm saying. And doing tshuva means say vidui. Person was telling me last week about tshuva. He said, he was with his father when he was dying before he became Baal Tshuva 10 years ago. So with his father who was dying, and the doctor said the right thing to do is to let him go. Let him go means pull out the plug and kill him. That's homicide. That's what the doctor said. So all the brothers came together and they sat around the bed and they said goodbye to Dad, and they pulled out the plug and or whatever they do, shut off the machine and let him go. So and they thought they were doing a good thing, But so he says to me now, he says I'm walking around with this. I have to do tshuva. I killed my father. He says, right? I mean, I calmed him down, but quite grown up in Ezekiel mutter. But by Eitzoteh was, so you said say vidui. In fact, you just said vidui. That was vidui. Vidui. He said vidui. I heard the vidui. But it's not so pasha to me. You can say Tinach Shenishba. Maybe yes, the doctors force you to think this way. By the way, the society forces you to think this way. But it's not necessarily a patur to go against what's safe. So I'm saying vidui. Tachlis, just to get back to the point, let's realign. that we're going to have to get back to Nefesh Hachaim because there's so much to understand here. But what I do want to understand is that the first step of tshuva, the real step of tshuva is vidui. You could be a ganze tzaddik without vidui, but vidui, which means to meaningfully articulate. The Rambam says in Pardes Project, as I read to you, that you should. The Rambam says Pardes Project, tzorich lisvadois b'svasav v'loymar inyanais elo shegomar b'libo. After I've charat Allah, after I've kabbalah Allah, after I really have done everything that I can do, and I really feel like a changed person. Tzorich lisvadois b'svasav v'loymar inyanais elo shegomar b'libo. You have to say it. You have to articulate it with your lips. B'svasav, akimas svasayim. It's a Jewish thing, The Jews are the only ones you see moving their lips without saying anything. Like you learn it from Chan, right? This is. It has to have a maisa with it. A maisa with it. Choliot, even this is part of like Maisa Hatshuva. You have to have a Maisa. So Vidui is the Maisa and the Limaisa of Tshuva. So on this, the Rambam says, Kishiyasa Tshuva, Sarich Li's Vades. Now, I just want to end just two minutes before, and then I guess on Sunday we'll do the Nefesh Hachaim. But I just want to say this, that the Rambam learns the mitzvah of Tshuva from this pasuk, as he says, from the pasuk in Bamidbar, Parshas Nasai, V'isvadu es chatosam asher asu. You'd have to say Vidu. And in Sefer HaMitzvos of the Rambam, it's in Bamidbar. That's where he talks about it. Mitzvah in Gimel is mitzvahs vidui. He doesn't have a mitzvahs tshuva per se. He calls it mitzvahs vidui. That's what it's called, mitzvahs vidui. Again, like the Or Sameach says, like the Meshech Chacham says, it's not a mitzvah to tshuva. Tshuva is a prerequisite for saying vidui, for getting a kapar. You have to, of course, you have to stop stealing. Of course, obviously, you have to stop eating trade. The Ramban learns the mitzvah of tshuva from Parshas Nitzavim, V'shavta ad Hashem Elokecha, which is a much more obvious place to learn tshuva. I want to just show you something. One more second. If you look in Parsha, something that's fascinating. You look at this in a whole new way here. Tzavim Moshe Rabbeinu is talking. Atem Tzavim Ayem Kulchem. So this is Moshe Rabbeinu's nevuah. V'haya ki yavoyu alecha kol advarim ha'ela habracha v'haklola asher nasati lefanecha. You've hit life smacks you in the face, right? You see bracha, you see klola, you see life. It's not so posh, right? Habracha v'haklola. I'm rich, I'm poor, I'm sick, I'm healthy. What should you do? Says Moshe Rabbeinu, says Hashem. V'ashevoisa el levavecha b'chol hagoyim asher adichracha Hashem Elokecha shama. Even in your gullus, even in some faraway land, tinik shenishva menecha. Ashevoisa, you see bracha, you see klola. Listen to the message. V'ashevoisa el levavecha. Pasuk Aleph. Pasuk Beis. B'shavta ad Hashem Elokecha. B'shamata b'koiloi. Pasuk Gimel. V'shav Hashem Elokecha eshvuscha v'richamecha. V'shav v'kibetzcha mikol ha'amim asher hafitzcha Hashem Elokecha shama. So Moshe Rabbeinu is saying, if you find yourself in Golus, and you find yourself with brachas and klolos, the Holocaust, and what's to do? So he says, what's to do is, you found yourself where? In Poland, in Morocco, and wherever a person found himself. That's not yet the mitzvah of tshuva. What is that? The next thing you have to do, start to think. Start the tshuva process. Next thing is V'shavta, this the Ramban says is the mitzvah of tshuva. Argues with the Rambam. V'shavta ad Hashem Elokecha. V'shamata b'chol asher, v'shamata b'koiloi. V'chol asher anochim mitzavcha hayom, ata uvanecha. Now listen to this. V'chol levavecha, uv'chol nafshecha. Now you have to engage your lave and your nefesh. You get it? Your lave and your nefesh. When you do, that's what the pasuk here is talking about, even according to the Ramban. The Ramban says not totally in vidui, it seems to me, but what the Ramban says it's totally in v'ashevoisa levavecha. Think. It's a mental process. And then v'shavta. And then result. And this is a result. It's not a schar. It's a result. V'shav Hashem Elokecha shevuscha b'richamecha. And any Amaretz who says that the geula is not written in the Chumash should read this one simple passage, that when we do tshuva, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will return to us. Shav Hashem Elokecha Shivuscha. Hashem will chaperone our return. Where are we returning to? Eretz Yisrael. Simple. There will be a kibbutz galuyos, asher afitzcha Hashem Elokecha shama, and you will undo the galus which HaKadosh Baruch Hu sent you out to them. This is not Shemar Esrei, this is Chumash. And what's he going to do with you? Don't bring us here. Eretz Yisrael. Asher Yorshu Havisecha. Abraham Yitzchak Yaakov over here. V'yirishta. Rashi says, why does it say V'shav Hashem Elokecha? It should have said V'heshiv. So Amar Rav Shimon Bar Yochai says Rashi, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu goes out into Golos with us. V'shav, he himself is coming back. The kibbutz kali is HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself. Shchinta b'Golus. HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself. V'haviyacha Hashem Elokecha l'Oretz asher Yorshu Havisecha v'yirishta v'eitivcha v'yirbacha v'havisecha. And all of the brachos of the Gula will come. All before Parshat Tzavon. Where is it coming from? Tshuva. So the Ramban argues with the Rambam, and he says that the mitzvah of Tshuva is not v'yisvadu, but the mitzvah of Tshuva, which the Rambam doesn't bring this as a mitzvah, is for the mitzvah of v'shavta. V'shavta ad Hashem Elokecha. The v'shavta ad Hashem Elokecha. See, so the psukim here become very, very important. But really, what I want to point out is that when we talk about tshuva, so we always talk about v'ashevoiso levavecha. What did Shlomo say? Return to who you are. Return to what you are. That's not tshuva. That's return again. That's not tshuva. That's v'ashevoiso levavecha. That's the pasuk before tshuva. Then v'shavta, not to yourself, not v'ashevoiso levavecha, but v'shavta ad Hashem Elokecha. But what it really means is realignment, because what's happening here is that by me take v'ashevoiso el levavecha, then I'm realigning the pipe, and it's v'shavta ad Hashem Elokecha. And when I'm v'shavta ad Hashem Elokecha, not only are we not being misparnes from the klipos and the sitra achra of galus, but we have the geula. The geula means that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is with us in this, and now life is the way it's supposed to be. So you say, can you tell? Can you tell? Well, yeah, because if the geula is here, you can tell. The whole Klal Yisrael needs a chiropractic alignment. It has to get back to where it's supposed to be, and then, if anybody thinks that life is normal, so just read the news. Life is not. What's normal about it? They just get car rammings here, decapitations there. What's normal? I mean, there's nothing normal. There's nothing normal about the kings and the presidents of the world. There's nothing normal about them. But it's not normal. But what that is that's klipas tuma. That's all misalignment. And what we need to do is get back on track. Think about it. V'shavta ad Hashem Elokecha. So it starts off with levavecha and ends up with ad Hashem Elokecha, because now and then v'shav Hashem v'kibetzcha v'richamecha, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu is mekados simchem. So on Mir Hashem Sunday we'll get to the Nefesh Hachaim.
There's a Ramban called that's the second.
He doesn't bring it. He even by beat. He's a part.
Plumbing for a goy.